I'm Gabby. He's Jules. Gray skies over Berlin, which is why we're indoors today.
Inside
here at Scaling Spaces, your workspace solution here in Berlin. Jules, we're here.
We are.
We're here. It's quarterfinal time.
Last 8.
We're going to do this thing a little bit differently this show. We're going to look at two quarterfinals even in our A and B segments.
Yeah.
So let's start straight away with the one which I think on paper is the most box office one.
For sure.
And it's Holland. No, just kidding. Spain against Germany. All right, so you have the easy reading is Spain have looked really good.
Yeah.
Although some people feel that they haven't necessarily been challenged. And
That's
even
true.
against Georgia in the last game, it was a little bit hairier than it could have been. Sure, I mean, they didn't lose their cool, and they came back. They scored their goals. But if Kvaratskhelia scores from inside his own half, all of a sudden...
Yeah. No, you're right. And I think if you look at all their team and the strength and the flaws that maybe they had, is defensively, especially as centre-backs, where you think,
Too many French centre-backs.
Maybe, although French centre-backs are great and handsome.
Yeah,
but
Upamecano especially.
But it's true that Lenormand and Laporte, we're not sure. And because they haven't really been tested, then because Italy was not good enough.
By the way, it's really embarrassing that they had the toughest group, Italy and Croatia, and we can legitimately say they haven't been tested because Italy and Croatia were that bad.
Exactly. So let's see. And this is the first big test. And we've said, have they picked too early maybe? We've seen teams in tournaments like that before that were so good in the group stage and then would fall short. I don't know if this Spanish team can be one like that or not, because they've showed a lot of great things with the ball. Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal and Pedri and Rodri, all of that great. But it's still not perfect.
Up against them, a Germany side where Nagelsmann started out with a certain idea, certainly changed it. We saw in the last game. I don't know if his changes have worked. In the sense, they've obviously worked because they've won, but he didn't wipe the floor with Denmark.
No.
It got a little bit... The Switzerland game, in the end, Switzerland's XG was 0.23, so it's not over-egg Switzerland too much.
Sure.
But equally, he had to make those changes late on, right?
Yeah.
So... do we see this as a positive from Nagelsmann? Like, yes, I have the personality and the courage to drop Wirtz to make these tweaks, or is it actually, this isn't working?
Yeah, I think he tried something with Sané that didn't work, and I would be very surprised if Sané starts against Spain and not Wirtz. And also, if they want to win that battle in midfield, they need Wirtz there. They need his quality technically. Sané has the pace, great, but you want to be able to keep the ball against the Spanish press, and Sané doesn't do that. This is not what he does. Ball retention from Wirtz is highly superior than ball retention from Sané. So even if Wirtz hasn't been great since that Scotland game, and I wonder if there's room for Musiala and Wirtz to both be great in same games, for obvious reasons, I still think to keep the ball as much as possible, you need Wirtz in that team.
All right, let's talk the other semifinal, Portugal and
quarterfinal,
the quarterfinal even. Portugal and France. Like,
come on!
I'm not going to repeat this endlessly. And everybody loves repeating that stat. 2 own goals, 1 penalty. This is all part of Didier's master plan.
Yes.
Play rubbish football and then win it at the end because you have better players. It worked for him in one World Cup. Should have worked for him at the other World Cup if Mbappe had started playing maybe earlier than the last 10 minutes. France are overwhelming favorites. You're okay with this? You're not worried at all?
Yeah, overwhelming.
He's just going to send on another defensive midfielder in the next game. And
Camavinga will replace Rabiot, who's suspended, and then we will have the same 4-3-3 that we saw against Belgium because he loves the defensive solidity, he loves the organization, and hopefully Mbappe will be better.
But
and
it's like
Griezmann
when he went
can
into
impact.
the tournament, Dembele was playing, but then all of a sudden, he doesn't love this anymore.
Yeah, because he wants to find the right space for Griezmann and doesn't think and thinks that. Right now, Griezmann did well against Belgium, which I don't think, certainly in possession, you can have Griezmann on the right-hand side and think this is a good idea. But again, it shows you that his priority is defensive, and this team is very strong defensively with Griezmann as a right winger than if you put Griezmann somewhere else. So
we're going to come back to this, and I don't want to call him Forrest Gump, because somebody else is Forrest Gump in this scenario.
Okay.
But Portugal... all the focus has been on Cristiano. Should he play? Should he not play? You and I disagree on that a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
So let's save that part for the podcast bit.
Yeah.
But I'll say this about Portugal. I think the pieces are there. They are creating the chances. I think people I think if France stumble, they're more likely to stumble in this game than later in the competition. I don't know if you're on board with that.
Yeah, they're dangerous. And I think, again, defensively, we saw against Slovenia, it was far from perfect. I don't think Pep can play whole 90 minutes, 120 minutes, even with extra time. So this would be interesting. But obviously, talent-wise, this Portugal's team is amazing when you think about the players they have.
We're going to get a little more granular with this on the Gab and Jules podcast.